David Maher is my name. I'm Anne's son, and I'd like to welcome you here to the Community Hall for the awareness night and the launch of Mam's book. All our siblings are so proud of it, but I'd like to just thank all of you, your friends and family, for turning up on a night, and I'd like to introduce Mam onto the stage.
I just want to say you're all very welcome here and thank you for your huge support. Most of you here will know about some of my health issues over the years and might be wondering why I wrote about it. For many years, we patients have been trying to get the HSE and the government to understand our complicated situation, but it is falling on deaf ears. Unreliable testing and an inadequate treatment can lead to a lifetime of unnecessary chronic illness, which could be completely prevented with early diagnosis and treatment. Misdiagnosis is common among our patient groups, TikTok Ireland and Lyme Chat era, ME, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and MS, and in some cases, more serious neurological diseases. We were waiting patiently for a follow-up from the 2018 EU debate. Meetings with junior and senior health ministers here were a total waste of time, as foreign results from a specialised lab are still not recognised. And later on, if you have the time to hang around, I'll tell you about young Seth. He's from County Meath, and his mother got in touch with me quite recently, and I'll tell you about their story later on. I would like to invite John McGuinness up here to maybe do the honours and launch this book for me, Lyme and Co, Me and Us. It's called Lyme and Co, the co meaning co-infections, which are other diseases that you can get from a tick bite. And the me and us, you understand that, myself and every other Lyme disease patient in this country that's totally neglected. John, if you're available, thank you very much. This man has been helping me and all of Lyme patients since about 2002, trying to get us treatment abroad and organising Oireachtas meetings and meetings in the AV room in Leinster House and rallies and everything, and I owe him a great thanks on behalf of us all.
First of all, I want to say how honoured I am to have been asked by Anne to launch this book. I would encourage all of you to take a copy of the book, buy a copy, support the work of Anne, because in this book is her story. And I think that when you read it, you will see the neglect of the state in relation to those that have Lyme disease, and you will see a complete, I suppose, determination on the state not to recognise Lyme disease. So for those of you that know Anne, her family are all here with her, in support of her. She has been a great campaigner for the recognition of Lyme disease, and she has taken that campaign to, I'd say, every level of the political life in this country. And you can see by some of the photographs in the back of the book where she has met everyone and anyone, not for herself, but for those that suffer from Lyme disease, and for those that suffer in ignorance that maybe they have Lyme disease, but they cannot get the appropriate tests to prove it. And even if they did, then there is no treatment here. So most of the direction for treatment is Germany, Switzerland, and so on. And Anne has been there. She has recounted her story here. So the original story came from Bob, who outlined how he contracted Lyme disease, the course that he had to take. And I think Anne then discovered through the purchase of a computer all of the other pieces of information that allowed her to piece together her story and to learn that in fact she had Lyme disease. I met Jack Lambert, and I have to say that he is a very credible figure. He is a man that has done outstanding work for those with Lyme disease, for helping to identify whether they have Lyme disease or not, and for supporting them. And he has got little or no support from any government, from any minister, in his efforts to have Lyme disease recognised. It's extremely difficult to get treatment abroad even in relation to Lyme disease, because there is a determination or a determined position within the departments not to recognise it. So Anne has done, not just writing of this book, Anne has done a huge amount for people all over the country that are affected in one way or another. And speaking to Harry earlier on, and looking at the way he has been affected, had he been diagnosed properly in the very beginning, he wouldn't be in a wheelchair today. He wouldn't have suffered for the last 24 years. And I think that that's shocking. It's a terrible indictment on the state, and it's a terrible indictment on the individuals that have the power to change the direction, recognise Lyme disease, have it treated properly, save the lives of people, and ensure that they have a quality of life that they enjoy. I want to mention just one person here. I know that Dr. Cuddy was very good to you. I know that Jack Lambert has been very good to you, and that you have a great support in terms of TikTok, the forum where people can share their stories regarding Lyme disease, and that has been a support for so many, Anne. And it's hard to keep going. She told me she's 70. No, I didn't ask her, but she told me she volunteered.
I didn't ask him why.
And she said she's a bit cracked, but she isn't. I want to really compliment you on this work. I know that if Mark McSherry was here beside me, he would say the same thing, because Mark McSherry, another TD in the dog, is someone that believes in telling it as it is, and he has supported Anne all the way through Dáil debates, presentations in the Oireachtas room in Leinster House, where people come in and make presentations about the different issues. So the fight continues on, and this is simply the explanation, I think, of where we are now. And for any of you that want information, don't go to the government department, go to Anne, read the book. I hope that any of you that are affected by this, that you will keep well, you'll keep safe, you'll learn from Anne's story, and that you will find the treatment and support that you need to have a reasonable quality of life, because it can affect you in so many ways. So I'm happy to launch the book, Anne, and please support her story and the efforts to have Lyme disease recognised, treated, and for it to be done in Ireland rather than have the burden of travelling across to Europe. Thanks, Anne.
You're all looking lovely down there. Just look, I'm going to just read the introduction, and I'll leave it at that, and we can have a cup, or whoever likes can get up if you want to get up and ask questions, or say anything, you're more than welcome to. I haven't a problem with that. My introduction to this, I decided to write about my journey with chronic Lyme disease to highlight the devastating complications I have had and hopefully make sense of the reasons I and so many others have suffered for years without an accurate diagnosis or adequate treatment at home here in Ireland. This is my true story. I've been ill for the past 28 years, seriously so for the first 8 of those without a proper diagnosis. It is also the story of many Irish Lyme disease patients in this year, 2023, who have met and been in contact with over the last 20 plus years. My story, am I gone? Hello? Am I there? My story includes going from consultant to consultant from 95 to 2003, trying to find what was causing my very strange symptoms, not being believed at these appointments, inaccurate results for Lyme disease, and then finally in 2003, my diagnosis with Dr. Maher in Switzerland through blood tests in 3 different countries, Switzerland, Germany and the United States, and the SPECT scan in Basel Hospital. Those results were not recognised here in Ireland when I came home, except by my GPs, Dr. Johnny Cuddy and Dr. Carney. The Hippocratic oath to treat the ill to the best of one's ability, to preserve a patient's privacy, to teach the secrets of medicine to the next generation, needs to be taken more seriously. Part of the problem then and now for many of us is inaccurate testing and inadequate treatment. There is little knowledge of an infectious disease, often thought to be an American thing, despite tick-borne diseases have been recorded in Europe for many decades. Little research, if any, has been conducted here over those years. Sadly, nothing much has changed for us Lyme disease patients in all that time, except we have one, yes, only one, consultant in the whole of Ireland who helps his patients from Ireland and abroad get properly diagnosed and prescribes adequate treatment. I met Dr. Jack Lambert for the first time at the 2016 TikTok Ireland Lyme Disease Conference I organised, which was held in the Collection Hotel in Portlaoise. And his presentation that day was a breath of fresh air for Lyme disease patients. No doubting that his patients were ill, because he listens to and believes his patients and checks their full medical history. Dr. Lambert has kindly shared his perspective on Lyme disease with me, which I include with other doctors' opinion towards the end of this book. Thank you very much. Any questions? Anyone having to say?
One question. What does it cost the government to fight against the idea of Lyme disease?
Where's the politician in the house? I've no idea. I've no idea. I know one problem is, and Dr. Jack told me this, that when around the time of the 2016 conference, he was getting tests done through the Mater Hospital, and they were very, very expensive, and that expense sheet went too high for the finance department. So he was asked to stop doing those expensive tests. So that's part of it anyway. So instead now they want people to go to the expense of borrowing money or whatever and get testing done abroad, which is anything up to €1,000. Yeah. So, anyone else anything to say? Paul, Jill? No?
Well, just thank you.
Can I say something, Anne? You're looking smashing tonight.
tea and we can come back to it after when you, you know, consider whatever.
Sounds good.
Huh?
Couple sounds
I know
good.
we're coming into, this is Awareness Month, May, and we're coming into the season where ticks are, you know, everywhere. Now, we don't know the percentage of the infection that are in ticks, but like, as I said to Brian Redmond on the radio, it's like Russian roulette. Do you need to take a chance on which is infected and which is not? And that's the problem. And to be honest, for me, I had a rat coming home from the States, and I was told it was ringworm. Hindsight is a great thing. Back in '95, no one knew anything about this. But yeah, so look, mind your children and yourselves during the summer months, especially when and one political party in government is looking for grasses to be left growing and in the countryside, so they're adding to the issue too. Yeah. So, and listen, take care. Yeah, Phil.
Should we be taking something preventive, like?
There is. I have a little awareness table down there. So there's information leaflets. There's sprays, tick repellent that you can get. There's 3 different varieties there. And there's a small one I got in the health shop, and which you can use on young children, because some of that Houghton and that other one, they're not suitable for young kids.
Yeah.
So, but the whole thing is prevention, and check if you have small children, check them. You know, if they're running around the long grass or the wherever, going mad around the Castle Park.
Like more.
Because I think we have, I don't know if we have here, but we have a Kilkenny patient who got infected in the Castle Park.
Yeah.
So just be careful. Yeah. Anyway, anything else to say?
And is it true, Anne, that the ticks are very, very tiny? They're very small?
Yeah, some of them, they're different. The little nymph tick is the size of a pinhead, which, you know, think about that. I saw a photograph of a patient presented who had a nymph tick stuck. The child had a nymph tick in his eye. You wouldn't notice it in his eyebrow, only the mother was so aware, you know, and she removed it carefully and the child is all right. But if she had left that there, that child, and at one of our conferences that I organised, Professor Magdalena Korsica, I can't pronounce her name right, she was from Poland, and she did a presentation on autism and Lyme. And I tell you, that make the hair stand on your head. Like, when children with autism attend her clinic, the first thing she does is test for Lyme disease, because it's a big problem in Poland, but there's patients going from all over Europe to her. Yeah, so look, it's something to think about seriously, and just protect your kids, you know, and yourselves, of course. Yeah, all right. Hello.
And can I ask you, for those of us who might have a dog or a cat or anything, can ticks be conveyed to humans from the animal?
Yeah, hiya Harry. You're welcome. Now this is a good question, because 2 weeks ago I asked a veterinary nurse about do they find Lyme disease in dogs, and she said no, we don't have Lyme disease in dogs here, it's an American thing. And I said, oh right, because a vet, rest in peace, Tom Downey, I met him after having kidney failure in 2011, Mick myself met him. And he was telling us about that dogs get kidney failure from Lyme disease too. And I know a lady, Sophie, lives in Dublin. She was minding her neighbour's dog. They were away for a few days. And the dog was out for the walk and came into her, you know, brought her into her house. And she noticed a couple of ticks and she pulled them off. And Sophie's sick nearly as long as I am, because she got infected from those ticks. So if you remove the ticks, you have to remove them very carefully. Use gloves or something and don't take any chances. Yeah, and what I remember now is my late husband Mick, years ago, he read an article in the Racing Post about a horse stables in France had to be closed down for 3 months one summer because of the Lyme disease infection had spread. Yeah, so look, it's animals and humans, and you just have to be careful. Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, but it's not a scaremongering thing about ticks. I'm sure that we've been, I think it was 17 probably when man got sick first, and he's 45 now, so we're living with Lyme disease most of our adult life. It's not a scaremongering thing, but it's just an awareness, and if it is that you're out in the woods or parks or whatever, I think it's, if you're feeling unwell or get the symptoms when you come back or home, or notice that there is a rash or bullseye rash, it's then you need to, so it's not we can't go here or we can't go there. You can go, but like if you're in the woods and whatever, you're insect repellent and whatever, but it's when you come home and after a couple of days, if you do get the flu-like symptoms and and then you come up with a rash and where are you talking about it got bitten, then it's time to visit your GP, I think. So I think it's important to say too, just still enjoy your life, your walks in the park like we all do, but just be aware, I think, really is what we're trying to get to know with it.
And beside David, my David is David Fitzgerald, and the last few years we've been trying to campaign for county councils to get up awareness signs. We're still working on the OPW, they haven't really received our message well, but to my knowledge, Kilkenny is the first county council that have erected signs. Now they're not in the big parks because they are under the OPW looks after them. But it was David a couple of years ago put forward a motion at a county council meeting, and he kept after him until they passed the motion, and the signs were designed with help from the HSC and Frank over in the county council, and the signs were erected, and we appreciate. And I've spread the good news of David's motion and work with other councils around the country, and Wicklow's coming on board, South County Dublin and a few in the West are coming on board because of this man too. So thanks David, I'm publicly thanking you for your help.
Can I return the compliment to you, Anne? It wouldn't have happened without you. Because I first met you, I say the first time I met you, but the first time I had a good chat with you was actually 5 years ago, and I canvassed you in a local election. And you told me, we had a great old chat about Lyme disease, and I said, if I could ever be of help to you get in contact. And you did. And you asked for the signs.
You made the mistake of saying that, didn't you?
I'm sure there's no point in looking for a job in a council if you're not prepared to work.
I know, but of all our I know politicians shouldn't be involved in health issues, but I'm afraid that's the way it is. That's the way it is now with this situation. Unless this filters up to the top to the Minister for Health, the HSC, the HPSC, nothing will change. And I was invited years ago by Dr. Paul McKeown as patient rep on the subcommittee, the Lyme Borrelia subcommittee. And sure, we were all got excited because we thought, oh my gosh, they're going to do something for us. But I was told on day one, their remit was only to improve awareness notices and on media the beginning of May every year. That's been put on hold for the last 4 years with COVID, but it is back this year. But it was such a wasted opportunity. They could have met with other patients and try and make a difference and improve the testing methods and figure out what was going on. But it was just a wasted opportunity in my opinion. But anyway, you'll keep working away, lads, when you're re-elected. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Sorry, Anne, can I just say something? First of all, I want to congratulate you, well done. And for me personally, I would never have known anything, the dangers of ticks, until you got Lyme disease. I didn't know anything about Lyme disease, anything like that. And what you've done, I think, is amazing. You've gone around, I know, to gun club meetings and everything, giving them all, yeah, but you have, and you've give out warnings to everybody, and you're just terrific in what you're doing, and you've spread the word so good, like, to everybody. And I know there's a man up there who's very, very proud of you. And we just want to say well done from all of your neighbours. Well done.